So welcome to my class. Continuing on with Unit 2, and we are doing presentation of data, and that we are doing tabular presentation. And in the last class we talked about what are the advantages of tabulation, or what are the objectives and what are the objectives of tabulation. We also talked about what is the difference between classification of data and tabulation. And in this, we are going to talk about what are the essentials of a good table and what are the parts of a table. All right, so here we go. Just have a look. Now, after all, what are the essentials of a good table? So first and foremost, a table should be attractive because it should be able to draw the attention of the readers. So care should be made while determining its size. Then the proportion of rows and columns should be kept in mind. The writing of figures should be neat, it should be good. So in short, it has to be attractive enough to draw your attention. If it's a slip-shod table, nobody will look at it. So second is, I feel that clear. It should be very clear. The table should be so prepared that even a layman, a person who is not familiar with a subject, could be called a layman, can draw conclusions from it. So far as possible, table should be complete. It should be self-explanatory. Just looking at it, it should give you enough explanation that you understand yourself without consulting anyone. So it should be self-explanatory. And the units of measurement must be clearly stated as price in rupees or weight in quintals, etc. Another thing that is, it should be scientifically prepared. The way tables are supposed to be prepared. Like for example, all the required rules of tabulation should be carefully followed. You must have seen most of the tables have a table number, they have a head note, they have what is known as the body of the table. So a table, all the required rules of tabulation are there. A table must have a suitable title at the top of the table. Footnotes should be given if it is needed, and an asterisk can be marked there corresponding to the concerned item. So it should be, the rules of the tables or parts of the tables as given should be followed. Now let's talk about the parts of the table. So when you see a table, what do you see? The parts of the table are visible. One is the table number. Each table should be numbered for identification. Especially if more than one table is given, it is the table number that distinguishes one table from another. So if you go for a presentation, or if you're writing in your notes or you're trying to explain, if you made 3-4 tables, please number them. They have to be numbered. The numbers may be either given at the top above the title or the left side of the title. Normally the table number is given in terms of complete numbers. But sometimes fractional numbers are also given, especially when it is concerned with the same concept. Say 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, etc. Okay. So for example, in this case, the first digit refers to the chapter and the second digit to the order. Okay. Now, for example, if I write table number 1.2, that implies it is the second table of the first chapter. Okay, and all of that. Now let's take the title. Every table should be given a suitable title. The title should be simple, clear. Okay, it should be simple and clear, short, and again self-explanatory. It should be self-explanatory. A title is meant to describe in brief the contents of the table. It should be written in bold letters so as to attract readers' eye immediately. A complete title should explain the following. Number 1, nature of data, time period of data, scope of data, and the basis of classification of data. So the title should be self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. Okay. Then we have what is known as head note. In case the main title fails to describe the complete information, a head note should be given. It is just placed below the title, which classifies the contents of the table. For example, the unit of measurement is given as head note, such as in tons, thousands, and rupees, etc. Sometimes head note is also known as prefatory note. So you can another name for it. Then you have what is known as the captions and the stubs. So what are stubs? Stubs are the row headings, and the rows are horizontal, and captions are column headings, and they are the vertical columns. So both should be brief, descriptive, and they should be clearly defined. Now coming to the body of the table. That is the main part, and it contains the actual data. So location of any one figure or data in the table is fixed and determined by the rows and columns of the table. The size and the shape of the main body should be planned in view of nature of figures and the objective of investigation. So the size of the body would depend upon the nature and size of the data. That is, undesirable and irrelevant information should be avoided. So, and the table must contain subtotals of each separate class of data and grand total of all combined classes. So the body of table is also known as cell. I can just show you the format if you can see that. So that is how it goes on. So you've seen the table number, title, head note, stubs and captions, body of the table, which is a cell. Then we talk about footnotes. If the table is of complex nature and if the reader is unable to understand from the title, captions or stub, footnotes are used to explain these things. So they clarify certain points of the table. So they are generally given at the end of the table. Alright, and especially in asterisks is put before that. And source. Source is where have you taken the information from? Which sort of data is it? Primary, secondary, or which particular place did you take this table from? That is very important. Okay, so these are the essentials or the parts of a table.